Hello there. In this video, we are talking about how to develop your inner coach or coach yourself or teach your clients how to coach themselves out of any situation. In this video, I'm discussing a topic that I think is vitally important for today's times. The reason being, a lot of our clients very often do not have the ability to just pick up the phone and talk to their coach. It's expensive to talk to coaches, which is why very often I like to suggest tools for my clients to be able to manage their states and coach themselves out of certain situations. You may have observed that very often you have an inner voice, an inner chatter, if I may, as Ethan Kross calls it. These are conversations that you're having with yourself. Sometimes they are out aloud and you can really hear that conversation with yourself. And very often they are happening just subtly, just in the background, without you really realizing on how it is creating an impact in your life. Very often this inner voice or this inner chatter is what really defines your character. Once this inner chatter starts to tell you a particular narrative, you start to believe and your being starts to get influenced by that chatter, by those thoughts, by those opinions that you have of yourself. While this character gets developed, this character also starts to take control of your life. They start making decisions for you. Good decisions, bad decisions, or indecisions. But they are taking control of all decisions that are happening in your life, which of course, in turn, influences the actions that you may or may not take, which in turn influences the results that you get in your life. Now, while I explain this whole structure of your inner dialogue, creating the character, which is creating decisions, which is creating actions, which are leading to your results, you may realize that most of the time you are looking at your life as a series of results that you have got or you want to get. Very often we wake up in the morning and say, hey, today I would like to do X. Or yesterday my day was like this, and so today I would like to have my day like this. Or my month like this, or my years like this. Human beings focus towards result because it's easier to comprehend and it's something to look forward to or something that we can hold on to. And because of that, our focus has always stayed on results. But as you must have already realized, results are a consequence of the inner dialogue, inner voice, inner chatter, whatever you want to call it, which means if we can work on that inner chatter, we can probably influence our results. Let me explain that with an example that you may either come to love or may come to hate. But before I go there, I want to invite you to listen to that inner chatter and hit that red subscribe button if you have not yet. Hit that red subscribe button and become a subscriber with us. Now back to how does inner chatter, inner dialogue, inner voice influence your results and how you want to change those so you can have better results and results that are in alignment with you. So let's take an example. This is a very popular concept, very often spoken in the coaching and training industry. Are you somebody who is in the coaching profession or training profession or wants to do it and suffer from something which is a psychological concept called imposter syndrome? Do you feel like an imposter? Do you feel like who are you to create change in somebody's life? Do these dialogues go on in your head? Do you ask yourself constantly or frequently that are you worthy creating change in somebody's life? Are you worthy being a coach or a trainer or an educator? If that is you, that is a classic inner chatter example. An inner chatter that is actually very well informed. It's really smart. It took a psychological concept called imposter syndrome and really magnified it to almost question your existence, question your purpose, question your activity towards wanting to create a positive change in the society. It became so powerful that right now you may be feeling that you are not good enough to be a coach. You may have made the decision to not reach out in the outside world and coach someone. You may have stopped yourself from any decision whatsoever and stay in the lane of indecision, which is a decision in itself. You may have stopped yourself from taking actions because you couldn't make a decision, and hence you may be suffering right now with no clients whatsoever. You see how an informed chatter can lead to lack of results in your life. While the chatter, the conversation, the inner dialogue, the inner voice is trying to protect you by telling you you're suffering from imposter syndrome, let me tell you that if we could work on this conversation, this inner voice, and this inner dialogue, on this chatter, we may be able to actually get you into action. Let's understand your inner voice first. You see, our inner voice is largely influenced by our past or our future. Let's take an example. If you have felt anxiety, fear, concern about something, about your capability in the past 24 hours, I want you to remember that instance and find the trigger. Find the trigger that may have caused you to feel anxiety, fear, lack of confidence, or any of such negative emotions that may not create progress in your life. So go ahead and take a second and think about what triggered it, the emotion itself, and then what happened right before you felt that emotion. Now, most likely there's an event that triggers these emotions. This event is usually a function of something that has happened in the past or something that is probable in the future. Let me explain with an example. So say, for example, you were on Instagram, only minding your own business, crawling away, enjoying and getting the dopamine rush and enjoying the dopamine that you're getting. And suddenly you saw somebody who is in the same field as you and looked at their profile, looked at their post, and saw how many likes they got. As you looked at their likes, you suddenly realized that you don't have the same number of likes and that maybe they know something that you don't, and that maybe you're not good enough because it doesn't look like you in the future can get those many followers and hence those many likes. This is your future influencing your present and starting a narrative that is non-helpful to you. Another version of this story could be you looked at the same person's Instagram post, looked at the number of likes, looked at what they are doing, and thought about how you tried to post something similar in the past and it really didn't get that much traction. And that because it didn't get traction at that time, you probably won't get traction if you posted something similar, even if you really knew that idea really well and could really present it very well. You feel like your presentation doesn't really land with your audience because it didn't in the past, and hence you won't get the same amount of visibility or love or acceptance from a community of individuals that you truly don't really know because they're on Instagram behind their phones themselves. I'm exaggerating a little bit, of course, but the point I'm really trying to make is anything that triggered those emotions for you that was building your character, giving you a false belief of imposter syndrome or whatever that may be, is actually a function of an experience that has happened in your past or a function of something that is a probable future that you feel scared about or impossible about. And that is where your chatter really starts, because suddenly now you're making up stories. You're making up stories about how it didn't work in the past or how it won't work in the future, and hence it doesn't work right now. And that is how your imposter syndrome or any other belief that you've picked up from the world may be showing up through this inner voice, through this inner chatter, and creating a life for you that is out of your true essence and your true character. And because it is out of your true essence and your true character, you start to build up a character that is more designed to save you than to explore you and to expand you. And as you design your character to save you from the outside influences, you start to make decisions that are also safe decisions. Puts you into a state of inaction or a smaller action than you could possibly take, which of course creates a result that then starts feeding your chatter again. It starts to feed your inner voice again, because now you go, see, of course I didn't get results, of course. And because I didn't get results, I would never get results. And that is how it is. And see, I have imposter syndrome. And see, that is why I wasn't putting out my content or I wasn't sharing the inside information that I had. And it becomes a self-fulfilling cycle. And you want to get out of the cycle. So the way you want to get yourself out of this inner dialogue, inner voice, inner chatter is to start to create a new character for yourself. So this technique works in this way. Like our inner voice influences our character or our being influences our inner voice. So the way to change your inner voice or to start influencing your inner voice is to change the way you are or who you are as a person. And the way to make it happen is to do it pragmatically. There are techniques that would allow you to completely switch around your inner chatter and your inner narrative and your inner voice. And we've talked about that in previous videos, and we'll link it up below this video for you to go check it out. But if those techniques are not working for you, here is another way to approach it. You see how our inner voice influenced our character, which influenced our decision making, which influenced our action, which influenced our results. It also works the other way around. If we change our actions, it changes and influences the way we make decisions, which changes the way we are as people, which influences our inner dialogue and inner conversations and inner chatter. So what we want to do is we want to start asking ourselves the question of, what are the small actions that moves me towards understanding my current inner dialogue? So say, for example, you believe you have imposter syndrome. Let's just assume that that's a thing and that happens for you. And you've told that story to yourself enough times for you to believe that it's true. What you would do is you would ask yourself, what are the actions I can take to get past anything that makes me believe or doubt my capabilities? So for example, if you believe you have imposter syndrome and hence you cannot coach, ask yourself, how can I coach just one person? Just one person somewhere that I don't have to get paid. A small action that is towards the direction of more confidence in your abilities would move you away from the belief that you are an imposter. Imposter syndrome is simply you feeling that you're an imposter, but if you're taking action towards something, and it's a small action, not something that needs a tremendous amount of belief in yourself, but a small action like coaching somebody at a cafe or coaching somebody without even telling them you're coaching them, but to see what really happens without charging them anything or anything like that. Just having conversation which are questions based and see if that really creates an insight for the person sitting across the table from you. That small action would give you more confidence and more understanding that you do not have imposter syndrome, that you have told yourself the story because you have a greater ability than what you had previously imagined. So take small action, because when you take a small action, it influences your ability to make better decisions. For example, if you go out and take action and coach somebody at a cafe without expecting anything in return, it will show you that you can make better decisions. You can make a decision that is towards the outcome that you want, not away from the outcomes that you want. You want to become a better coach. You want to have that as a career. You want to influence and impact people's lives. Well, now you can make a better decision because you already saw that you can take an action towards coaching someone. So you can make a better decision next time. And now you can say, oh, okay, I took that small action that helped somebody. Maybe I can take small actions like these that will help some people. Now you're somebody who's taking decision that is towards the outcome that they want, which is to coach individuals. And once that happens, now your character starts to get influenced. Your belief starts to influence. You start to now go, oh, I can coach. Oh, there is a possibility that I can create outcomes. I can sit in a conversation and be present. I can sit in a conversation and ask meaningful, powerful questions. I have the ability to surprise myself. And soon enough, you will find that your inner voice, your inner chatter, your inner dialogue starts to change. It is not doubting your abilities anymore. It's asking more and more questions towards, what is it that I have not considered yet about myself? What is it that I can be more curious about? What is it that I can do or be so I can move towards my goals? Like your inner chatter, your inner dialogue influences your actions and your results. Your results and your actions can also inversely impact your inner narrative, your inner voice, your inner chatter. So if you could get yourself to just take small steps towards the direction that you truly want to go to, you will find slowly but surely that your inner dialogue, your inner voice starts to quieten down or becomes more affirmative, more positive. So don't listen to your inner voice, especially if it is making suggestions against your good judgment. Use your actions to influence your inner voice so you can change the reality that you currently operate in, so that you can become a better, more empowered coach, a better, more empowered human being. Now, this is just one of the many strategies that one can use to be able to influence their inner voice and inner dialogue. We have many such videos that will show you how you can coach yourself or work in your inner voice. I'm going to link them up below. I would love for you to take a journey through all of them and get more advanced understanding how you can work on yourself, on your inner coach, and also help your clients get better with their own inner coach. So in between those coaching sessions, they can get even better outcomes. Now, I know you must have loved this video because this is such a powerful strategy. So go ahead, like this video, leave me a comment sharing what you found interesting about this video, share it with somebody that you think can use this technique in their life. And if for some reason you still haven't subscribed, go hit that red subscribe button so you can get a notification week after week. Thank you so much for watching this video. This is Ajit Navlakha, and you are watching this on EverCoach.